Let me start by saying I knew what I was doing when I got all cute for this video, so just watch until the end. There's a point to this, okay? Just watch. Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Dee, and I'm gonna get right into it. So I saw this article today on the Daily Mail, and I was talking about a discussion that happened in a comment section of some kind of a forum for moms. And one of the moms was talking about how a lot of good-looking women don't realize that pretty privilege is a thing, and that women who are not considered pretty or beautiful by their society don't have the same experiences in life as the ones who are considered pretty. And it was an interesting topic because was it this year? Yeah, this year I came across a YouTuber called Stephanie, and the name of her channel is Oh Stefco. And I really like her. I adore her. I think she's just amazing. And she kind of blew up on YouTube when she did a video talking about the fact that she does not have pretty privilege and that it sucks. And it was a very controversial video because it seems as if a lot of women were trying to gaslight her and tell her that there is no such thing, that it's a matter of confidence, and if you don't have any confidence, of course you're not going to be treated like you're pretty. And just a whole lot of foolishness that I'm seeing in the comments section. Like, are you guys really going to tell this young woman that there is no such thing as pretty privilege, and that some people in society are treated one way and others are treated a different way? It really just, it irked me. And so when I saw the article this morning, as I was, I don't know why I read the Daily Mail online. I really don't know. I don't know why I listen to those people. But I love celebrity gossip, and sometimes I come across an article that they'll publish that seems really interesting. And so it inspired me to sit down and make this video today. Let's start by defining pretty privilege. What is pretty privilege? I don't think there's a universal definition of it. However, I think we all kind of have a pretty good idea of what it is. Pretty privilege, in my own words, is the series of advantages that are available to men and women, but mostly women, who are considered pretty by their society standards. That's basically it. People who are considered pretty, they are given more privileges in society. They have more job opportunities. This is an actual statistic. They also have better outcomes in legal situations. Like if you are accused of something, of a crime, juries are more likely to believe you and to believe your innocence if they consider you to be attractive. So this is a real thing that can have some real important effects in people's everyday lives. And of course, I keep using the term what society considers pretty because for the most part, societies, they tend to have their own definitions of what's considered beautiful or pretty. But in the world that we live in, it pretty much tends to be universally accepted that the closer you are to whiteness, or what is perceived as whiteness, paler skin, more narrow features, these kinds of things, the closer you are to that, then you tend to, across societies, be considered to be pretty, and then you get to partake of the privileges that society is going to give you. And so I mentioned race because race has a really big part to do with it, which brings me to my story. I was born and raised in Panama. Panama is a lovely little country it's not officially Central America. It's kind of between Central and South America, but it's considered to be in Central America. Basically, it's Latin America. And growing up in Latin America as a Black person, as a little Black girl, I learned very early that in Latin America, as in pretty much every place on earth, there is racism. And in Latin America, we have very overt racism. It's a racism that doesn't even feel the need to hide itself, to camouflage itself for the sake of appearing to be more civilized or more progressive as a society. Where I come from, it is clearly understood and very well accepted by open society that Black people are considered inferior. It is something that, at least growing up in the 70s and 80s and parts of the 90s in Panama, it's something that society doesn't even try to hide or even feel any sense of shame about. It is completely understood. And unfortunately, most Black people agree with that kind of thinking. And growing up in a society like that, I understood at a very early age that society was always going to see me as inferior. They were going to disregard the way I looked. They were just going to assume because I am a little Black girl, I am inferior to people of other races. And that is something that I sort of accepted. I'd like to think of myself as kind of a little rebel. I've always known that, wait a minute, that's wrong. How can people say that? But even though I knew it was wrong and that it was shameful that people felt that way, I just kind of accepted it, like, that's the way it is here. That's the way it's always going to be here. And so very early on as a little child, I always knew that I was never really going to fit into the pretty category. And that brings back to mind an incident. I can't even tell you how old I was. I may have been maybe 3 years old. Those are some of my earliest memories are from when I was around 3. And I was with my family, and it must have been some kind of a street fair or some place where there was a parade, or there were animals, and there were families everywhere. And there was an ice cream parlor. I think it was ice cream. Maybe it was cakes. I don't know. It was a long time ago. But I remember being in line, probably with my mom or my dad, and I was, waiting for my turn to go get my ice cream. But anyway, the guy who was selling whatever it is he was selling, he was talking to this little girl. She was right in front of me in the line, and he was attending to her, and she was a little white girl. And even though Panama is a very racially diverse country, lots of races and cultures and ethnicities from all over the world, white people are still kind of a minority. They're the dominant group, as they tend to be everywhere else, but they're the dominant group, but there are maybe 10% of the population, around that. And this little girl, she was blonde and she had blue eyes, which is rare, even in a society where, white people are rare. She was extremely rare because she had blonde hair and blue eyes. And the man was just fawning over her. And, oh my gosh, look at you, you're so cute. And he gave her little cone of whatever it was. And he said, you have a good day, you're so cute. And in my mind, when I see him treating this little girl like that, because I'm this little girl, I'm innocent, I don't know much about racism or prejudice, I assume, oh, this guy who's selling these ice creams, he likes little girls, so he's gonna be nice to me when it's my turn. And so he says goodbye to the little girl, and then I come up to, to the front of the line, and I ask for what I wanted, and he didn't even make eye contact with me. He just kind of looked at me kind of from the corner of his eyes, and he, got busy getting whatever it is he was getting. And then he handed it to me, not even looking at me. And I remember being confused, and for a slight second thinking, did I do something wrong? Was I rude? I thought I smiled. Why is he treating me differently from that girl? And in that instant, I kind of got it. Oh, I don't look like her. Girls who look like that get that sweetness, and they get fawned over, and they get all that extra attention. And girls who look like me, we just get the basic treatment. Okay. And I remember how much that stung. It really stung. But the thing about kids is that we have this amazing capacity to just accept reality, make it a part of our intellectual makeup, and just move on with it. Accept it and move on. It's a survival mechanism, and it's brilliant. And I remember that moment being a pivotal moment in me understanding what is my place in society. Where do I fit into society? They are the girls who are pretty and they're going to be treated extra nice. And I think the man, when he said something like, I'm going to give you an extra scoop of ice cream or something like that. And I was expecting that, but I only got the scoop I paid for. And I, in that moment, understood these are the rules of society. I need to learn them. So I need to know what to expect. And I need to know how to move myself in society to get the things that I need to get. And I know that I will not be able to depend on my looks to get that extra scoop of ice cream. So I better develop some kind of an intellectual ability, something. I mean, I don't think my 3-year-old brain at the time went through that whole process, but instinctively, I think that's when I started to understand where I stood. And so it became very clear to me at a very young age that life was not going to be a cakewalk and doors weren't going to magically open for me and people weren't just going to shower me with things. I was going to have to put in an effort. And I just want to say, thank God for my family. I come from the most wonderful, loving, encouraging, affirming families in the world. It is an amazing, amazing family. I am so grateful. I don't take them for granted. I adore them. And I thank God for everything that they did, my mom and my dad, even my siblings, did to kind of affirm each other. You are special, you are smart, you are beautiful. Everything about you is perfect. Don't forget that. And that is wonderful to have as a base. But let's be honest. When children go out into the world, when they go to school, when they're out there, larger society is going to teach you where you stand in society. And that oftentimes has a bigger impact on how you see yourself than the love you may be receiving at home. Because there were times when I would think to myself, my parents, they tell me that I'm cute, but I think they only say that because they love me. And that's how I felt, growing up. I just understood that society, because society at large doesn't know me enough to love me, they have a more objective way of judging me. And so that objective way of judging me must be more accurate than the feedback I'm getting from home. It's the feedback I was getting from home is more biased. Now, what effect did not growing up with pretty privilege have on me? Great question. It had a really good effect on me. Because when you understand that life is not going to just throw things at you, and that society and life in general is not just going to be handing you things, that you have to develop the skills to take from life what you need to take from life. And so that led me to understand, first and foremost, since I'm not one of the pretty girls, I better be one of the smart girls. I better learn how to apply myself, how to learn, how to be diligent, how to understand things. So when I go out there into the world where the pretty girls are going to get all the prime husbands, the guys who make all the money, the guys who have all the power, they're going to gravitate towards the pretty girls. I have to be able to be in a position where even if I end up with a man that may not have a lot of money or power, I have enough skill to avail myself of resources myself, so that even if we end up in a situation where he can't really provide everything for us, I can also provide some, and together our resources can amount to more than enough for us to live a good life. So I applied myself in school. I was very smart. I was valedictorian of my high school graduation. I was class president when I graduated high school. I really took to heart this idea that life is what you make of it. and the things that you can control. You cannot control what you look like, but you can control how much you study, how hard you work at that school project. And I put all that effort into that. I also noticed growing up as a little girl that all the pretty girls had all the friends. Everybody wanted to be their friends. I wanted to be their friends because somehow we feel that having a friend that is a pretty girl, somehow her prettiness is going to transfer onto me. If I'm near the pretty girl, everybody's going to flock towards us and I'm going to benefit from that flocking. Somehow I'm going to get some of the crumbs that fall off her table because I'm right next to the table where she's at. And so I, after a while, realized, you know what, if I want to make friends of my own, I can't just stand there and watch people flock towards me. I'm going to have to develop a personality. I'm going to have to become the kind of person that has a good sense of humor, that knows how to talk to different people, that has qualities that are attractive to people like empathy and kindness and being able to share with others. So as I grew up as a child into an adolescent, into a young lady, I put a lot of effort into cultivating those personality traits that would kind of help me be able to attract friends, good quality friends into my life. I also never developed a sense of entitlement. You know, those people who expect life to bring good things to them, that always expect people to be kind to them, always expect. Remember, I was that little girl that thought, okay, this guy was nice to that girl when he was serving her ice cream, so I expect the same thing for myself. When I quickly realized that that's not going to happen, I think at that moment was the beginning of me not expecting much from people and from life in general. Knowing that things aren't just going to fall very easily onto my lap, I was going to have to work to attract those things. And even after you put in your best effort, when things don't really happen, not to really take it to heart, not to throw a tantrum and be like, why isn't this working? Why are people doing this for me? No. I already knew it wasn't going to be a cakewalk. So when it doesn't happen, okay, what else can I do? What else can I come up with to maybe, get some kind of advantage in life? Which brings me to also the next point, which is I am a natural problem solver. When problems come to my life, when things happen, that I see the difficulties that are coming, when I see hurdles and obstacles, I don't expect life to solve them for me. I don't expect somebody to come flying in from the corner or coming from the bushes and come to rescue me. No, I have to solve it. So whenever there's a problem and I notice it, my brain immediately goes into problem solving mode. I have to fix this. I need to figure this out. And over the years, I have developed a really good, ingenious, creative brain that can come up with solutions when faced with problems. And I think that's something awesome. It's one of my favorite superpowers that I have. And I owe it all to not having pretty privilege. So what now? How do I feel about my appearance now? Well, if you watch my channel, you know I'm 48 years old. I'm gonna turn 49 this December. And I have never felt better about myself. I have never felt more confident, more comfortable in my skin. That is something that comes with life, with experience, with the wisdom that you develop over the years. You no longer feel like you're this leaf that's blowing in the wind, or you're stranded in the middle of the ocean trying to stay afloat, trying to figure things out. When you get to this point in life and you've gone through quite a few sticky situations and you've worked your way out of them, you develop a sense of confidence and comfort in yourself that I just can't put any value on. I feel like I look the best I've ever looked, and I know that I do because I've put in some work on myself. I am in a fitness journey. I go to the gym, I work out, I take care of myself. I make sure that I eat the healthiest food possible so that I can be healthy and in great shape. I've been working a lot on my hair. My hair is the longest, thickest, strongest it's ever been. I've been putting a lot of work in that. I have videos on that. Please explore my channel, feel free. And my Invisalign, I getting my teeth straightened. That has had such an impact on how I feel about myself and my confidence and my smile and being in front of people. Right now we're all wearing masks, so I can't really show off my smile. But I look forward to being able to flash my smile everywhere I go. And so I just feel really great. In fact, at 48, I am getting way more attention and more looks than I ever have in my entire life. My 25-year-old self couldn't have even imagined getting the attention that I get these days. And so in terms of how I feel about my appearance, better than ever. I really don't care what society thinks about how I look now versus what I looked like before, or comparing myself to other people. I really don't care, because I am so comfortable, I am so confident, that I almost feel like pretty privileged at this point. Like, do I really need it? Who needs that? But then I ask myself, is it really because of how I look now that people feel more attracted to me? People are more drawn to me? Is that it? Or is it because of the skills I developed because I didn't have pretty privilege? Is it because I developed my intelligence and I learned how to talk to people, how to express myself in a way that I can talk to people of all walks of life, that makes me somehow more attractive to people, that it makes people want to come talk to me? Is it the confidence that I have because I know that the good qualities that I bring wherever I go are qualities that are very valuable to society? I am a problem solver. I'm a very calm, empathic person. I am somebody who feels confident in her own skin. Here's another thing that I forgot to mention. When you don't have pretty privilege and you know no one is looking at you, that leaves so much room for you to just be yourself without the fear of being ridiculed or pointed at because nobody's looking. You know how people say dance like no one is looking? There's something to that. When you know you're not being looked at, you understand you're not being judged. So I don't know. I don't know which one is having more of an effect of how I feel about myself and how society is reacting around me. Either way, I really don't care. I'm at a place in life where I just want to be given the room I need to continue to experience life in the best way I can with the skills I have acquired, and everybody can either take it or get out of the way. And I'm cool with either one. So my parting words to you, if you are a young lady or a gentleman or a little boy or a little girl who's watching this video and you're trying to say, okay, so what's the point? The point is, if you were not born with the physical characteristics that are going to give you that pretty privilege, that's okay. Pretty privilege has an expiration date. So many people who have coasted by through life because of their looks, and they have received all the privileges that come with their looks, as those looks begin to fade and those privileges are being removed, a lot of these people really don't know what to do with themselves because they never had to figure out how to figure it out, because life was just being so kind, so automatically sweet to you. And so if you don't have pretty privilege, don't worry about it. In fact, you may be better off developing the characteristics and the skills that you can control. You can't control the color of your skin, the texture of your hair, the width of your nose, the size of your lips. Some of those things you can work on, you can have work done on those things. But really and truly, When you are going through those formative years, growing up, you're a child, you're a teenager, and you're trying to figure out who you are in life, focus on the things that you can change about yourself, because those are the things that are going to add the most value to your life. And the best part, they never expire. So that was my video for today. If you enjoyed watching this, please leave a like. If you would like to see more from me and my journey into a glow up, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.